Not every D&D book in my collection is put out by Wizards of the Coast. Today I'm going to share with you 3 awesome D&D books I have that I think will enhance your role-playing experience. And be sure to stay tuned for a bonus book at the end of the video. What are these books? Let's see. Adventurers, my channel covers tips, tricks, unboxing reviews of all things Dungeons & Dragons and RPGs. So if that's right up your alley, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. I've got some epic videos planned for 2021. Let's get right into the books. Links for all these books are in the description down below. Now our first book is the Ultimate RPG Character Backstory Guide. This is by James D'Amato. And this is prompts and activities to create an interesting backstory for your character. I don't know about you, but I am great at getting the dice, rolling up some scores, picking a race, a class, a background, picking equipment and what I want my character to look like. But I get really stumped sometimes when it comes to a great backstory. Now, this book is excellent for helping you out with that. It has 100 different activities and writing prompts for different level characters. So the book is divided into 3 sections. Activities to create a low level character, 1 through 7, a medium level, 8 through 14, and a high level character, 15 through 20. The activities can also be broken into 3 different kinds. A list of things to choose from, a dice roll, or just a straight writing prompt. Now there's no particular order to do these activities in, and these would be good to either do on your own or even together with your gaming group, maybe at your session 0. Just to give you an example of some of the types of activities that are in here, one of my favorites is for low-level characters is for the activity called Save the Cat. This activity actually helps you determine the alignment for your character if you're having trouble picking your alignment. And what it does is it asks you, what would your character do if they came across a cat stuck up in a tree? And there's 3 sections with different answers to choose from. You're going to read through them and say, you know, I think my character would do this one. And you'll either find that they are evil, neutral, or good character. Some of them are as simple as that. Like I said, also there's ones to roll dice. Here's an interesting one. This one I think is for the medium level characters. Yes, levels 8 through 14. And this is if your character is cursed. There are a bunch of 3 different dice rolls in here to find out, number 1, how your character acquired the curse. And the second step is what the curse causes to happen. And lastly, how to get rid of the curse. So for an example, you could roll a d6 3 times and come up with a curse that's because you touched a hexed item. It causes you to compulsively tell the truth when you would prefer to lie. And you can get rid of it by traveling 100 miles. There's some really great prompts in here. Here's an interesting writing prompt called What Does It Mean to Be? Write a statement about your identity based on the prompt. What my parents taught me, what my church taught me, what society taught me, and which of these lessons is most important to your character's identity. So these are all character-based questions. This is an amazing book, so many great ideas in here to help you really develop more than a basic backstory for your character, something with a lot of depth and interest that's really going to enhance your role-playing in your game. Moving on to book 2 is The Monsters Know What They're Doing by Keith Ammann. The subtitle here is Combat Tactics for Dungeon Masters, and this is a great book for helping Dungeon Masters understand combat tactics for the monsters they're running in their games. This helps the Dungeon Master out with survival tactics or how the environment might affect a certain monster that they're running. It kind of makes your combat make a little more sense. You don't necessarily want all your players to just run into different monsters that they're fighting and every single one reacts the same. Maybe they all just fight to the death and you move on to the next combat. But that's not that interesting. This adds some more interest to how the monsters are going to actually behave in combat. It provides both offensive and defensive strategies for so many different kinds of monsters. The book is divided into 14 different sections, and it covers everything from humanoids like kobolds, orcs, and goblins, to dragons, to undead like shadows, vampires, and banshees, to all the different types of different monsters that you would find in your Dungeons & Dragons monster manual. Let me give you an example. If you went to the kobolds section of this book, it's going to have a few paragraphs describing to you that sure, kobolds have low intelligence, low wisdom, and low constitution. You can get that from the stat block in the monster manual. And that they also have pack tactics as a special ability when they're fighting. But what the book gives you that the monster manuals doesn't is how the kobolds might actually behave in combat. The author provides information like kobolds are actually very likely to set traps and try to ambush parties. When kobolds come across a fight, they are all about swarming the enemy. In fact, if they get down to only one kobold left, that kobold is likely going to turn and flee without his buddies to back him up. Also, a seriously wounded kobold with only 1 or 2 hit points left is highly likely to turn and run. It also offers such information as, due to a kobold's low intelligence, they're very likely not to think to disengage in combat, turning and running and provoking opportunity attacks left and right. That's something that a Dungeon Master might not necessarily think of just going on the stat block in the Monster Manual. What I would do as a Dungeon Master to make good use out of this book is look up the monsters that I know that my players are going to be encountering and just jot some notes like that, like 1 kobold left will run, 1 or 2 hit points left will run, sets traps, won't disengage, and maybe put that on like a post-it note and stick it as like a bookmark on the monster manual. Like I said, this is going to make some of your combat encounters so much more realistic. You don't want every single combat encounter to feel the same to your players. It's just a fight to the death, move on to the next one. I highly recommend this book. Adventurers, if you're enjoying this video, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and give us a like. It really helps support our channel. Third book of our video is The Fantasy Mapmaker by Jared Blando. Now, it has a subtitle of How to Draw RPG Cities for Gamers and Fans. This book features 9 chapters of different how-tos to make amazing maps for your RPG group or just for the art bug in you. This is basically like a step-by-step tutorial on how to draw top-down view maps for RPG and fantasy games. It's going to teach you how to draw the basics like houses with different roof styles, trees, forests, bridges, water in your maps. It covers how to draw fences, roads, walls, trees, bridges, and it breaks it down into the basic shapes, adding some more shapes to that, and then going into the final details for a really incredible look. It even gets into drawing advanced map items like settlements, maybe a small village or a whole city or even a castle, towers and fountains, temples and libraries, and even things like lighthouses and ships. There's sections on different border styles to put around the edges of your map, and how to even draw compasses on your map to show which way is north. Lastly, it even covers coloring in your maps with different techniques and adding shadows and highlights to make your maps really pop. Now it's time for the bonus book I mentioned. The bonus book that I want to share with you is the Dungeon Meister Drink Master's Guide. This is, just like it sounds, a book of RPG-themed cocktails. This book is by Jeff Aldrich and John Taylor, and it covers things like essential spirits to get your bar fully stocked, common on-hand mixers and bar tools that you want to have. Then it also includes 75 recipes for drinks, shots, cocktails, punches, and they're all rated by complexity. So you know if a drink is going to be real basic or if it's going to require a little more work to put together. In this book, they also have really comical sidebars on each drink, and a lot of them even have some really cute illustrations for the beverages as well. I haven't made anything from this book yet, but I plan on it real soon. I need to hit that Essential Spirits page and stock up my bar first. Okay, here's one that I cannot wait to make. It's the half and half orc. It is cream de menthe, cream de cocoa, and some half and half in a chilled martini glass. That sounds fantastic. Or how about the Natural 20? This drink is citrus vodka, raspberry vodka, apple juice, lime juice, simple syrup, aromatic bitters, and some blackberries for garnish. Also in a martini glass. Sounds fantastic. It's time for Epic Question of the Day. I want to hear from you down below in the comments if you want to see another video focusing on any one of these books. Do you want to see me make and taste test some drinks out of the drink guide? Do you want to see me come up with a full character backstory based on the prompts in this book? Should we go a little more in depth on some of the different combat tactics for monsters in this one? Or should I do a before and after of how my map drawing skills improved after some of the advice in this one? Go ahead and comment down below and we'll see what kind of follow-up video we get. Next, be sure to check out the playlist I have filled with reviews and unboxings of other great Dungeons & Dragons and RPG accessories. Or you could check out my latest video too.